like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, who laid the foundation for the education, the pattern of education in India after independence, and paved way for millions of the youngsters who are there to get educated and ultimately become whatever they are today, including the Vice Chancellors. Professor Satak gave a recipe to become a Vice Chancellor. So somebody said that I did not apply, so I got it. And he said he applied 4 times and went away to the village, and then he also got it. In between he said that you have to repeat 2 times in the 5th standard to become a Vice Chancellor. But I think the recipe for becoming a Vice Chancellor is unique to each person. It doesn't repeat. But one thing is common for any accomplishment, whether you become a Vice Chancellor or a great businessman or a great poet or a great thinker or a great scientist or an engineer or a lawyer or whatever you want to become. Children, for you, I tell you, one thing which is common between all the people who accomplish is that you should be a great dreamer. That is one thing which I am sure my senior colleague Professor Satak must have dreamt at some point, and probably he missed to say that point because it has not come by accident. And I have to confess that I did dream. I did dream when I was as young as you are, that I should become a professor. I did not dream to become a Vice Chancellor, but once I got into that, when that dream came a reality, I started dreaming higher. You see, greed, ambition, passion, many things. That is how somebody. So it is not a sin to dream. It is one of the qualities to dream of accomplishers. So everyone had a great dream. Maulana Azad also had a great dream. Many dreamers don't live to see the realities when their dreams are realized over a period of time. It's not only Azad. The science and technology, the foundation of the science and technology, the expertise which we have got today, the nuclear power that we have become today, the pride with which we widen our chest and say that if you don't give us something, we can do it ourselves. Remember, for 20 years there were sanctions from US, and India was in a position to develop its own propelled rockets without any supplies from anywhere else. How did it all happen? There was a dreamer by name Nehru. He laid the foundation. He imagined how the laboratories there should be laboratories in the country specializing in every field. The CSIR laboratories and various defense laboratories and a number of laboratories to start working research. Now the progress of any country is not based on purely on constructing engineering colleges and medical colleges alone. Yesterday I was at a luncheon hosted by the Assistant Secretary of government of United States, who is in charge of all immigrations in Washington, she came and she had hosted a luncheon here and then a few vice chancellors were invited, and there was a discussion, and Professor Anantan was also there, IIT Madras, and there are some private institutions and all they were talking about. So everybody was talking about the number of engineering colleges, medical colleges, MBS produced going to America. The problem, the whole point is, a country's strength does not depend only on that. That is an immediate requirement for the need of the society, the industry to run. But what makes this sustenance for over a period of time? A very strong research base. That is a vision of Pandit Nehru. If he had not thought of to lay that foundation, today we would not have that strength to say that we can do anything, that even if you don't support us from outside. Friends, like dreamers. So they are the people who make nations. And I'm sure that every child in India is given an opportunity. He has a Nehru in him, a Azad in him, which ultimately manifests itself into no matter what position you ultimately occupy, but you can definitely be the best in that occupation. So it is not necessary that one should always become a vice chancellor. You can become anything. Even if you are a drum beater, you should be the best drum beater. That is the aim. Children, I will not take much of the time. It's a day just to remind us that this country is a great country. This country has a great promise. And it's a country, it's a land of opportunities and resources which is least tapped and utilized. And you are the fortunate lot who is going to live coming 60, 70, 80 years to harvest the riches of this great nation. Just to remember those people who laid such foundations, we celebrate those their days, and this is an excuse. It's only to remind ourselves that we have a great job to do to build this nation with absolute unity, sincerity, integrity and truthfulness. All these things was conveyed so humorously. In fact, what I am saying is not different from what Professor Satik said, but he had his own way of saying that. He played with his name and conveyed something. There's a humorous and wit he has. He was conveying the same thing to you in a different way. I was wondering about his playing with the name. You see, actually it's also a problem of the local language. It is not his mistake. It is a problem of the Tamil language. You see, Japan is not Japan, it is Nippon. And everybody calls it as Japan because there is no Japan. San Jose is actually written as San Jose. It's actually San Jose. His name actually starts for truth. That is a name, one of the names of Prophet Muhammad. He was called Al-Amin, the honest, by the people. He is an illiterate. Prophet Muhammad was an illiterate. He did not know how to read and write. But he was always called because he was so honest. He was Sadiq. In Arabic, Sadiq is one who tells always the truth. This is S-A-D-I-Q-U-E. And actually it is Sadiq. Kha. Unfortunately in Tamil you can neither say Kha nor La. You say Tamil money, you write as ZH. All these days I was saying, when I was calling this as Tamiz money. Tamiz in Hindi is Battamiz, Batamiz. It is like that. No? This is Tareen. Tareen means no, it has no meaning. It can be either Behtareen or Battareen. Behtarin is the best, Battarin is the worst. You know, there is nothing called Tareen. But unfortunately, that is my last name. As he said, we are all imported. My forefathers are not from India. They are all from Tareen Court, Afghanistan. You may ask me why I am so short then. Afghan Pathan should be always a 6 foot, like a Kabuliwala. We all came to south in Tipu Sultan army, Hyder Ali's army. My forefathers came as fighters. They are very big fighters. The answer to why I am so short is, my great-grandfather also fell in love with a South Indian lady who was 3.5 feet tall. The compromise average worked out to Tareen, which is in front of you, without losing many of the characters of the Pathans. That is important. And the intelligence of the South Indians. I inherited both. I got the fighters' spirit of the Pathans. I have inherited the fighters' instinct of the Pathans. And I have inherited the sharp intelligence also of the South Indians. I am sorry, a little boast here, but you don't mind. Why I am talking like this is, I got enthused from the humor and the wit of Professor Satik. All these days you are hearing me only as a serious man. I can also have cut some jokes sometimes for a change. So I wanted somebody to trigger this, but he did it. So I have just given a bit of it. Well, friends, this is what it is. Thank you very much for attending this. Professor Satik, with his presence, made this meeting very, very lively, meaningful. He not only made us laugh, but he conveyed an excellent message that we should live in unity and with absolute values which our forefathers have left to keep this great nation united, a nation of great knowledge. Thank you very much.